So once your domain name has moved across and it's redirected successfully, then you can move on to the next stage, which is going to be installing WordPress. And remember, you can check to see if your domain name has moved across by going to the whois, typing in your domain name and having a look. So the name servers have changed now across to SiteGround. So they now should match what we have in our cPanel here. So we now know that our domain name is successfully pointing at our SiteGround hosting plan. And so when we build our website on SiteGround, our domain name is going to be able to access it. So now that we are here, we can close down Namecheap because we no longer need that. Our work is done there. We can close down Nominet because our work is done there too. So we're now going to be in the cPanel. Now, when you set up your SiteGround account, you probably included your primary domain name that was going to be pointed to this hosting plan, in which case you're already done and you don't need to take any notice of the next step. But I have several domain names that I use on my SiteGround account, so I need to add this as an add-on domain. So I'm just going to click on here and I'm going to type in freedomrunning.co.uk, which is my domain name that I'm wanting to be pointed to this address. So I can then generate a password, or I can add my own. So I'm just going to add one myself, and then I'm going to make a note of it in my notepad. So I'm just going to come over here, and you might be able to see what I'm doing actually. But basically, I need to make sure that I have a note of my password. And I'm just going to click on Add Domain. So now that my domain name is added, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, I'm going to make sure that I have a SSL certificate associated with this domain name. So I'm going to go back to my cPanel home, and I'm going to scroll towards the bottom of here, and I'm going to go to Let's Encrypt, which is the SSL certificate that we're going to use. And right down at the bottom, we have an option to install a new Let's Encrypt certificate. So I'm going to choose the one that I want, and Freedom Running now shows up as an option because I've just added it as an add-on domain. And I'm just going to go with the Let's Encrypt SSL, and I'm going to click on Install. And it's been added to the installation queue. So you'll need to wait probably 5 or 10 minutes just so that it's active. And when it's active, you will see it show up in the Manage Let's Encrypt Certificates list. So you'll see it show up here. Mine isn't showing up yet, but when it is, we're ready to move to the next stage, which is installing WordPress.